background for Vedanta. Okay. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Nidhaya Hridi Vishvesham Vidaya Guru Vandanam Balanan Sukhabodhaya Kriyate Tarka samgraha. So, all that Vyapatya Siddha, Sat Pratipaksha, Ashraya Siddha, all clear, no problems. I mean, as clear as it can be. Okay. All right. Now we are seeing the third reason, which is called Vyapyatva Siddha. Okay. So Upadika Hetu is Vyapyatva Asiddha. The Vyapti is not established, he says. It is called Sopadikam. There is an Upadi in it. Upadi meaning a limitation, a flaw in your Vyapti. Now, how do you define it? Here. Sadhya Vyapakatve Sati Sadhana Avyapakatvam Upadi. In the Sadhya, what is to be proved, your reason is tenable. But in the example that you are given, sadhana, the example you are given, your reason is not really tenable. There is a flaw in it. How can that be? How can that be? Here, he gives you an example. Skip the next line. I will come to the next line afterwards. Okay? Skip the next line. He says, sadhanatva nishtati atyant, sorry. Okay. Sadhya samanadikarnam atyanta abhava pratiyogitvam. That two lines you skip. That line and sadhana nishta, sadhana. That also you will live. I will come back to these two definitions later. Let us understand the thing first. Parvato dhumavan. Okay. Parvataha dhumavan agnitvad ityatra ardhendra samyogaha upadi. What is the flaw in it? Why is there smoke on the mountain? Because there is fire. But all fire does not have smoke. There can be smokeless fires also. So, why is this mountain fire smoky? Because it is connected with wet fuel. The branches are wet, either with a natural sap or because they are wet with water, whatever, rain, etc., shower, etc. Therefore, there is Ardhendra Samyogaha Upadi. Now look at it. Now look at the reason you are given. Tatai Yatra Dhumaha Tata Ardhendriya Samyoga iti Sadhya Vyapakata. So really speaking, you can't say Yatra Yatra Dhumaha Tatra Tatra Agnihi. Why? Because Yatra Yatra Ardhendriya Samyogaha Tatra Tatra Dhumaha. Dhuma will be there only if the fuel is wet, not otherwise. If the fuel is wet, then you will have, or contaminated fuel, if you are looking at it for your vehicles, etc. Unless there is contamination of wetness, it is not going to happen. Therefore, in the Vyapti you are given, Yatra Yatra Dhumaha Tatra Tatra Agnihi is not strictly true. It is true because that fuel that you have for your Agni is connected with water, wetness, either water or the sap of the tree, whatever. Therefore, Ardhendriya Samyoga. Now, that will be the Upadi now. Upadi meaning a limitation, a flaw. That's why when you are doing it in science, what you will say? Under certain conditions, you will define the framework. Under these conditions, you will say under normal temperature and pressure. That normal temperature and pressure will never be reached on earth. Under natural conditions, it will never be reached, I am guaranteeing you that. Even under special conditions, it is difficult to reach that temperature. It's only a mathematical conclusion. The mathematics you prove, and I say, okay, at this, so under NTP conditions, normal, it's not normal, it's abnormal actually. But you will frame. To avoid upadis, you will frame the thing. So this is called Vyapyatva Asiddhi. Vyapyatva Asiddhi. Okay. Yatra vannihi tatra ardhendriya samyogaha nasti. Everywhere there is fire, there is no smoke. Yatha golake ayo golake, he says. Ayo golake meaning you heated up a ball of iron. It is hot enough to burn. You can keep your this thing on it and cook also. Your pan on it and cook. But it doesn't have smoke there. It doesn't have smoke there. Ardhendriya samyoga abhavaditi sadhana vyapakatva. Okay, now let us go back to the definitions. Okay, the second line. This third sentence. Second line, third sentence. Sadhya samana adhikarna atyanta abhava pratiyogam sadhya vyapakatva. What is sadhya vyapakatvam? Sadhya vyapakatvam is sadhya samana adhikarne atyanta abhava pratiyogitvam. For it to be vyapanam in the sadhyam, sadhyam is the reason that you are giving, the example that you are giving, it should be the counter positive, atyanta abhava pratiyogi, counter positive of what? In the sadhya, in the sadhya. That means what? Wet fuel, in short, should be present in the example. The pratiyogi of the wet fuel should be there. Meaning what? Wet fuel should be there. Sadhana abhava pratiyogina, the opposite of the absence of wet fuel. If that is there in the sadhya, it is sadhya vyapakatvam. So opposite of abhava is what? Bhava, presence. This comes from their dialectics that abhava is a padartha. By saying abhava is a padartha, they are coming to this argument. Otherwise, they wouldn't come to this argument. Okay? I mean, this way of putting the definition. Okay. And similarly, sadhana nishtya atyanta abhava pratiyogitvam sadhana vyapakatvam. Sadhya is a mountain. Sadhana is your example. In the sadhana also it should be present. So if any one it is not present, it is called upadhi. Upadhi is vyapatva asiddha. This could have been called upadhi also. It could have been called upadhi. In fact, all these can be called upadhis in a way. Because all the fallacious reasoning have a flaw in it. No? So all of them can be classified as upadhis in general. In general parlance, all of them can be said upadhi because there is a flaw in it. What is an upadhi in Vedanta? That which brings about an apparent change. Here also, it brings about a change. No? There is a flaw, that brings about a change. So, that is where the whole thing is. Okay. All right, sadhana vyapakatva. Evam syadhya vyapakatva sadi sadhana avyapakatva ardhendriya samyoga upadhi. Therefore, the connection with the wet fuel becomes the upadhi. It is there in the sadhya. In the mountain it is there. But in the example that you are given, the reasoning you are given, it is not there. Therefore, you can't say Parvato Varniman Dhumatvat. Even though we generally say it, what it should be the correct statement? Yeah, exactly. Parvato Varniman Ardha Indriya Samyoga Vanni Vyapakatvat. If you want to learn to use words, you have to learn from them. Okay? How precise you can be. It is there in science now. In science, when you study definitions, that's why we are supposed to mug up the definitions. Why? Because you can't change one word in the definition. Same way here. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So earlier the inference was given to generally understand what an inference is about. Now you are refining it by saying it should not be just dhumat yatra yatraha. That vyapti yatra yatraha dhumaha tatra tatra agnihi is not enough. Yatra yatra dhumaha tatra tatra ardhendriya samyoga agnihi. It is same. Agni remains. Dhuma, everything is same. You are adding one more word to qualify that Agni. That Agni that is having wet fuel. Like in science you add, in definitions also you add. No? Look at any definition in law. You will be adding words. Correct? You will be adding words. Why? Because to make it precise, to make it precise, to make it precise. To negate possibilities. Yeah? Exactly. So all errors are limiting condition only. Na? Yeah. He puts all errors as only limiting conditions. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's a flaw in your reasoning. That's all he says. So why is it important? Supposing you are having a debate and he points out a flaw, finished. No? Your argument is not valid. Your argument is full of flaws. Where? Yeah. That's different. That is the theory of creation. Yeah. But in fire they cannot be water. Yeah. That is sukshma, not sthula. Yeah. That is different. That is completely, that's called Brahma. See, all this is connected with Brahma of how you gain knowledge, and in some knowledge there is a problem. In your logical reasoning, see, how are we dealing with it? Remember, we are dealing with by saying, what is pramana? You started with perception. Then you said inference. So, inference is meant to give you knowledge. So, inference will give you knowledge. Now, to make your inference correct, you avoid all these flaws. So, that's why the fallacious reasoning is pointed out. Fallacious reasoning is pointed out so that when you are giving a reason, it can be a clear-cut one. Yep, yeah. If perceptual data itself is wrong, then the whole thing becomes Brahma. You can't do inference. Like you can't say, the snake that I see on the rope is poisonous, like the cobra. You can't say that. The whole thing is Brahma. Yatra yatra nagatvam, tatra tatra vanatvam. You can't say that. Vishayatvam, you can't say. Huh? Exactly. With Brahma you can't have it. With Brahma you can't have an inferential. That is why you have to be very careful that your first perception is authentic. If your first perception itself is not authentic, then all the reasoning that you build upon it will be wrong. Yeah. You were there for that camp when I said 10 principles of living, remember? We did it in Lonavala, that place, Tulsi Sadhana Kutir. So there I gave that example, remember? I gave this example. One person is hiding under this. So what are you hiding from? There are terrorists around. I will also hide. How do you say there are terrorists? I heard some firework, some firing outside I heard. Now the first perception, there were some crackers. So the first perception itself was wrong. Instead of crackers, you took it as firing. After that, whatever you do, the whole thing is erroneous. No? Whole thing becomes erroneous. Not one thing is valid after that. Exactly. Without perceptual data, where is there influence? No. See, that is why your perception is considered Jeshta Pramana, the elder Pramana, because that's the basis for everything else. Now, then why are you putting inference as a Pramana? Because where perception is not enough, you need inference. That's why it becomes a separate Pramana by itself. Yeah, it becomes a separate Pramana because of that. Because when perception is not enough, I am seeing smoke. Smoke hai. Maybe it's not smoke also. Yeah, if the cloud that is appearing like smoke, that also you have to say. That's upadhi. That will become another upadhi. Correct? Because your perception itself is wrong. So, everything depends upon your initial data. That's why with very logical minds, all you have to do is feed them wrong data. I do that in my training programs to show them the limitation of their logic. In team building work, when I give them simple paper pencil exercise.
You had given us one
Game like that. So as one I will do, I'll see some engineers in the group. I'll modify my data to put some figures, length, breadth, height, etc. things. But you are sure they will bark up the wrong tree. Yeah. Then if there are some finance, this thing I will put some costing into it. Guaranteed they will go wrong. Guaranteed, I'm telling you. Full of all this, yeah. Yeah. So I have a simple team building game. Okay? Simple team building. It's available on the net and all. This game is available. But I modify the data, the game slightly to suit my needs. I modify it. So guaranteed. Finance guys, you put some costing into it, finance guys will go on the wrong tree. You put some this thing and the engineers will go off. I will talk of a megalithic yard and things like that. No? What is a megalithic yard? An ordinary person will take it's a unit of measurement. Yeah, okay. And I'll say megalithic yard is 3.5 feet. Bas, ho gaya. Or something like that. And if there are other characters, religious guys, I will say this day has got special significance. And green is a color associated with this, etc. Bas, udhar jayega. You make out, without knowing what the backgrounds are, I will make out what their professions are with that. Why? Because initial data, what is your focus? So if the data is wrong, your conclusions are bound to be wrong. Data is wrong, every conclusion is going to be wrong. So what do you think intelligence and counterintelligence in the world is about? Feeding wrong data. Very sophisticated techniques are used. Sophisticated human intelligence is used. Human intelligence is the best to feed wrong data also. It's a game. It's a deadly game, but it's a game. Okay. Yeah. In fact, in Afghanistan, during the 18th, 19th centuries, it used to be called the Great Game. Because Afghanistan was a hotbed of spies from Russia, England. Everyone was there in Afghanistan that time. Now it is shifted to half a dozen other places. But those days it was Afghanistan. Great game. They used to actually call it the Great Game. Yeah, I mean your life is at stake, but if you don't take it as a game, you will go crazy. You know, to live constant 24/7 under the pressure of being discovered and things like that, it is very high pressure. Very high pressure. So, why I am saying all this? Data becomes the most important thing. That's why in science, you are so precise about gathering data. You try to eliminate this, eliminate that, keep it all this. You prevent human interference from coming in. To make sure your data is right. To make sure of that. That's why this whole rigmarole goes on. Yeah?
That bulb
Must
must have
have a?
water.
I didn't get it. Only smoke is involved. Yeah. Must have water in any form. It can be from the sap of the tree also. This will not be smoky. This is dry wood. This will not smoke. If there is smoke, now I'll tell you, if you burn this and there is smoke, it's because there is water in the presence of paint, etc., varnish, etc. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, because there is water in the paper. Because without water imprint, you can't make paper. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But you burn the gas at home, there is no smoke. Because it's filtered out. There the gas, it's all, the water is filtered out. Yeah. So there is where the whole thing comes. Yeah. That's why it's not simple. The example given is simple so that for understanding sake. But when you look at it in life, there is so much of other things coming into it.
Technically, there is no pramana for inference.
No, it is a pramana. Inference is a pramana if you avoid all these flaws. There is no. There is no. Wherever there is no Ardhendriya Samyoga, there will be no smoke. Yeah. Wherever there is smoke, there is Ardhendriya Samyoga. That wetness can come from different sources, but it is there. Yeah. That's why you have to add. That's why I said, no? In the Vyapti, yatra yatra dhuma, tatra tatra vanni is not true. Yatra yatra dhuma, tatra Ardhendriya Samyoga vanni. What this thing, fire connected with wet fuel is there. Therefore,
In the mountains, when it's very cold at night, we find food and we
yeah.
try and find the dry food, not the wet food.
Exactly.
Because we can't take that.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Correct. Campfires and all is always difficult. Campfire, one of the biggest thing is challenge is to find dry wood, which will not smoke too much. Too much of smoke is an issue.
And to avoid wild animals coming, so
Yeah.
all night you keep the fire on.
You keep the fire on in the night, all that, yeah, true. Yeah. So the fire on, assumption is, it's an inference. Where there is fire, wildlife will not come close. They'll come but not close. Yeah. Like once we were on a trek, Kuwari Khal, we went up. That side is all snow. This side was dry. Because this was the, that side is the rain shadow, this shadow of the sun. This side was sunny area. So sunny area, all the snow had melted. That side is complete covered with snow. And the first thing we noticed was there was marks of the bear. Mountain bears are dangerous. So he must have come, looked over and found there are too many people and got back. Inference. Can you see that? It's clear-cut inference. Pug marks of a bear. Now that identification for that inference is what? That you have to identify the pug marks of which animal it belongs to. If you don't, then the question of yati, etc. will come up. Some of the stories of yati, etc. are because of that only. No? Couldn't identify the footprint. Yeah. Or there could be some other truth we don't know. We don't know. Yeah. Therefore, in those cases, inference will become a hypothetical situation. It won't become inference. It's only purely hypothetical then. What are the possibilities of yati being there, etc. When you are going to discuss, that will be purely hypothetical, not inferential. Because nothing is sure. How can you be sure of anything? Your data itself is vague. No? Your data is not conclusive. You know there are footprints. And you are ruled out that it doesn't belong to bear, this, that, the common animals found in that place. You can't rule out all animals. Only animals found in that place. You can't rule out somebody playing a prank. That's also there, no? Yeah. Like to protect some of my friends in this area, I spread a hawa mein ek teer maar diya, just for their protection. The person who is responsible for spreading that rumor comes back to me and asks me, is this true about you? He was the guy who 6 months back had started that rumor. I had said it to him and then he's coming back and asking me the same thing. He says, good, my intelligence work is effective. Rusty but effective. So all That's why you have to rule out possibilities of something may be camouflage, for example. Something may appear as something else, either naturally or deliberately. Things may be presented. Yeah. So these are all part of the game. That's why an analyst has to be very good in inference, very good in data gathering, very good in inference, very good in, if you want to teach your kid one thing to become successful in life, teach the child to recognize patterns. Everything has a pattern. Now, I am good in recognizing patterns in some areas, not other areas. Each one will have our own areas where you recognize patterns.
Statistics is all about that.
Statistics about that, only probabilities and patterns only. You are trying to study patterns. Yeah. But all that is based on perception and inference. Can you see all that is based on this? No. That is why the emphasis on the errors. Because you have to take care of all this, or you will jump to your conclusion. This error is there. Okay. The worldly functioning I am talking about. I am not talking about recognizing the truth or gaining scientific knowledge. In worldly functioning, sometimes you will avoid all that and go on by your intuition, your gut instinct, and that will be right. I am a fiercely logical thinker, but there are times when I have dropped it completely and gone by my gut instinct and proven right. So you have to recognize, because this is, when you are studying logic, it is a certain structured situation. Real life is a mixture of all the pramanas and other things besides that also. So you have to be careful where is what. Okay. Sadhana vyapakata, okay, upadhi. So upadikat vannimatvam vyapatva asiddham. Therefore, whenever there is an upadhi in your reasoning, in your vyapti, upadhi will come in your vyapti. Wherever there is an upadhi in your vyapti, it will be called vyapyatva asiddhi, the flaw of vyapyatva asiddhi. Even if you don't remember names, remember where the flaws can be there. That's important. That part is important, because then you will become more logical. If you now blindly ask me, okay, enumerate all the flaws. But when I see in an argument, I recognize what it is. That's important. Even if you don't recognize the names, where is the flaw, if you recognize, good enough. For a debate, etc., you will have to use this thing. Yeah. Vyapyatva siddham. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think Moolam is enough. In the Tika, he gives some more about this thing, but I think this is good enough. Okay. The next one is Badita Hetu. Okay, last of the what do you call flaws, erroneous reasoning, is called Badita Hetu. Hetu Baditam Syat. The Hetu, the reason that you are given, is negatable. What is that? Yasya Sadhya Abhave Pramana Antarena Nishchitam Sa Baditaha. Yasya Sadhya Abhava. What you are trying to establish by Hetu? Tasya Abhava. I am trying to prove something, and that abhava is established by another pramana. Yeah, is by another pramana. That is called baditam. Like he gives an example. Yatha vannihi anushnoho dravyatva jalavat. Fire is not hot because it's a dravya like water. Water is also a dravya. Fire is also a dravya. Therefore, fire should be cold like water. It's not hot. Pramanantarena bhaditam. Your perception tells you it is hot. Your perception tells you fire is hot. So how are you going to establish by logic it is not hot? Shankara says a million shastras can come and tell you fire is cold, but you won't take it. Why? Direct perception shows it is hot. Therefore, pramanantarena bhadita hetu. What do you have to establish? By another pramana is already negated. Okay. Atra anushnatvam sadhyam tad abhava ushnatvam sparshana pratyakshena grihyate iti bhaditatvam. That anushnatvam, which is sadhyam, the lack of heat is supposed to be proved. Tat abhava, absence of lack of heat, that means presence of heat. Ushnatvam, sparshana pratyakshena grihyate. By your touch, it can be known. Therefore, it is baditam. Your hetu is baditam. The hetu that you are given is subject to negation. Hetu itself is not valid. Pramana antarena.
Swami, this can be termed as lying, right?
Huh?
This can be termed as not technical truth. This
Not? Yeah.
technical truth.
No, yeah. Modern language will be like that. Yeah.
This particular.
Yeah. Baditam, it is negated. Finished. Yeah. The argument doesn't hold water. Yeah. Simple. But pramana antara. This is the only place he has brought in another pramana, if you notice. Because usually a pramana is swata siddham. Nayayikas doubt that. Nayayikas question that. But a pramana is supposed to be swata siddham. Therefore, the rightness and the wrongness of pramana is established by itself. But any pramana is swata siddha. But here he brings in inference, he brings in another pramana only because your hetu is wrong. Not to prove inference. He brings in to show hetu is wrong. The hetu that you are given is wrong. Only there he brings in another pramana.
Swamiji, then inference will depend on perception.
Correct?
Then inference is not swata.
Ha. Now the very interesting. Because all four pramanas are dependent on perception. The question, now what is a pramana? Abhadita, anadhigata, jnana janaka. Therefore, where perception is not enough, what will you do? You have to bring in one of the four. One of the four you have to bring in. Is Surendran here today? No. Anupalabdhi pramana. Now, Anupalabdhi is brought in too, depending on perception. No? So, any pramana, that way is dependent on it. But each pramana gives you knowledge which cannot be proved by perception. Yeah. That is why it becomes a pramana. Because abhaditam, anadhigatam is there. Anadhigatam is there. What inference can give you, perception cannot give you. What Anupalabdhi gives you, perception cannot give you. Therefore, anadhigatam. Therefore, the pramana is valid because it fits in the definition. Yes. Abhadita, anadhigata, jnana janaka.
That's why throughout all the traditions we have supporting logic.
Yeah. That's all. For the Shabda is always supporting logic. It's never proving logic. Like saying perception. Like this is a phone. Okay, this is a phone. Now, do you need supporting logic? It is very clear you don't need. Supposing you have a doubt, then some supporting logic can be given. Therefore, the supporting logic is not proving this is a phone. Supporting logic is only answering your doubts and making it clearer to you. That's the role of a supporting logic. Yeah.
Example, fire is
Hmm?
cold because it's like water.
Yeah.
Because it's a material.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of using this Bhadita hetu,
Yeah.
the defect in the reasoning,
Huh?
the defect in the reasoning can also be stated the other way by saying that when you say that water is hot because it is also a material like fire?
Yeah, yeah.
You won't say that. Therefore, your logic is wrong. Can you say that?
You can, but this is more convoluted. This is direct.
And is there a, I mean, is there a classification?
Then it will become like Sat Pratipaksha. It will become. Then it will become like Sat Pratipaksha. You have one argument, I have another argument. Both cancel each other. Exactly. Why does these people unmute themselves and then talk nonsense on the phone? On the I muted everyone. They'll unmute and then they'll be chatting there. Okay? All right. Therefore, this is Badita Hetu. Clear up to now? Ha! Finally, inference is over. I can hear a sigh of relief. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All scientific discoveries are based on inference, comparison. Yeah. In some cases, anupalabdhi, like black hole, etc. Yeah. Yeah. So most of them scientific discoveries are arthapatti, inference, arthapatti, and upaman, comparative studies. All scientific discoveries are based on that.
Swamiji, can we say that looking at all the pramanas,
Hello.
One second.
four pramanas, this inference according to Tarka is the most important thing, but it is also open to the most erroneous
Yep.
knowledge.
You are right. In Tarka, the greatest importance is given to inference. And that is why they are spending so much of time to make sure that all the flaws are eliminated. Because any perception will have its flaws. Any pramana will have its flaws. Perception has its flaws, dim light, etc. So you have to eliminate those things. Otherwise you will get wrong conclusion, wrong perception. Therefore, any pramana will have its limitations, including Vedanta. It won't work if it is given to a non-adhikari. Therefore, it protects itself by saying you should be an adhikari. Are you seeing that? Therefore, that part of it is always there. Therefore, any pramana can have its limitation. Instead of saying flaws, I will say limitation. Therefore, you have to take care of the limitation and within that limitation function.
Because that basic
Yeah, is inferential.
point that all these dravyas are permanent itself is
Yeah. Then if you question them on the fundamentals, how can you say these are dravyas? Which is done, and there are advanced texts which they will logically prove how these dravyas exist. Logically. Only on the basis of inference. So if you want to study advanced texts like that, I'll teach you. Bhasha Paricheda, etc. is there. Yeah, mar jayega.
because okay, you see that there
Yeah.
are certain things which don't change. They take the five or Panchamaha Pujas for that, but then basically ultimately
See,
inference only.
yeah, correct.
Because
Because from the scene you are going, na? You see it here, therefore it should be there. From the perception only you are going. From the perception you are taking off. So a lot of it is inferential. In fact, whole of Nyaya is based on inference only. Predominantly is inferential. That's why it's called Nyaya Vaisheshika. No? So they use the data from Vaisheshika and logic from Nyaya. So it became one school, Nyaya Vaisheshika. Yeah, Rohit, you had a question.
Yes, Swami. So, since perception is what the truth is not unmanifested, cannot be obtained from perception.
Yeah,
So we go to Sabdhavana.
yeah,
Sabdhavana will tell us the unmanifested
yeah.
because it is self-evident. But when we want to understand that unmanifested through the in the way of then Sabdhavana becomes a supporting.
Don't deal with Shabda yet. I will deal with it when it comes there. Okay? Now your question refers to Shabda Pramana. Yeah. That when we come to Shabda, we will see. Both Shabda according to Vedanta and Shabda according to Tarka. We will see that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Clear up to now? Yeah. Hopefully clear. Okay? Yeah. Then we can Upamana is the smallest pramana available. Both in Vedanta Paribhasha also you will find one page, Tarka also you will find one para, that's it. Okay, Upamana is simple. What is Upamanam? Upamiti Karanam Upamanam. That which gives you comparative knowledge is called Upamanam. Okay. Sanya Sangi Sambandha Jnanam Upamiti. Okay. What is Upamiti? He says Sanya and Sangi. Sanya is a name. Namaha. Sangi is the Nami. The connection between the name and the object is called Upamanam. Now how do you do it? Okay, this is Sambandha Jnanam Upamiti. That Sambandha Jnanam is Upamiti. Upamiti is the knowledge that you gain because of the Sambandha between a word and its object. Between the meaning of the word and the object. He will explain that further. Tat Karanam Sadrishya Jnanam. And the Karanam for that is what? Sadrishya Jnanam. For example, you don't know what a bison is. Now you have to understand the meaning of the word bison and the object bison, the entity bison. That is going to be called Upamitik Jnanam. How do you gain it? What is the Karanam for it? Sadrishya Jnanam. The knowledge of similarity. Okay? Knowledge of similarity. I will tell you, it is something like a water buffalo. Oh, you are going to the national park in USA. Go, have a look at the bison. What is the bison? Sanya, Sanyik Jnanam you want. You have got the word bison, but you don't know the object bison. Therefore, you want that connection. So, Sadrishya Jnanam, I will tell you, is something like a water buffalo. Then when you go there and you see the bison, you will say, this must be bison because, of course, it's different. What? Otherwise, you would have called it water buffalo. Nobody comes and says, hey, it is not like a water buffalo. It's different. Of course, it is different. That's why it's called bison. But Sadrishyam, similarity. Similarity. Here he gives you a better example. Okay. He says, Ati Desha Vakyartha Smarna Vakyantaram Vyapara. What is the Pramana Vyapara then? In another place, when you go, the Vakyartha Smaranam that you get is called the Vyapara. You from India, you went to USA, there you saw the bison, you remembered what I said, that it is like a water buffalo, and you made the connection. Ye hai na abhi. Yeah, this is there. It is a water buffalo. It is a bison. But because if the smaranam is not there, where is pramana vyapara? You don't remember. You can. Then sanya sangi jnana will not take place. So you need sadrishya jnanam. Plus you have to remember what I said. Bhul gaya. I said go see a bison. What is a bison? Like a water buffalo. Bhul gaya. He forgot it. Then when he goes there, he sees a bison. Will he remember? Will he say, this is a bison? Then I remembered my father's words. Son, you are a bachelor boy. Exact. Similarly, you have to remember, hey, this is, he had said that. याद नहीं आएगा तो कैसा आएगा? नहीं हो सकता. Okay. तथा ही कश्चिद गवय शब्द अर्थम अर्थ ज्ञानम. He is talking about gavaya. Gavaya is a wild buffalo. Okay? Yeah. Kutaschit Aranyaka Purusha Go Sadrishya Gavaya iti Shrutva. From a forest dweller. Okay? Aranyaka Purusha. From a forest dweller. Okay? Aranyaka Purusha, don't think of Brihadaranyaka and things like that. Okay? Aranyaka Purusha is a forest dweller. Oh, Vedanta mind है ना, वो सही से जाएगा. Once in a camp, I said for the workshop part, let us discuss about the book Prophet. Instead of a workshop, I said, let's have a book discussion. The Prophet is a fantastic book. It covers so much of dimensions of life. There is a statement he makes there. Don't say you have found the truth. Say you have found a truth. Now he is talking about life. The whole Prophet is about living. It is not about knowing the truth. It's about living. That's why he talks about love, relationship, marriage, children, etc. He talks about. You should have seen how upset all the students got. How can you say that? It is the truth you are after. Well, straight they went to the absolute truth. I think you were there in that camp, because this camp was at Matharan. I remember where it is also. My memory, God's grace, is pretty good. It was in Royal Hotel Matharan. We murdered that book, okay, the Prophet. Then I said, no, we should never take up a book like this for discussion. It has a mystic quality about it. It should remain like that. That's what gives a beauty to that book. Therefore, similarly, Aranyaka Purusha, he heard, from this forest dweller, he heard, what is a Gavaya? Go Sadrishaha. It is something like your cow. It's something like your buffalo at home. Iti Shrutva. He heard that. Then Vanam Gatva. Vakyartam Smaran. Go Trishyam Pindam Pashyati. Then he sees something, a Pinda, meaning a form, an entity, similar to the goat, similar to the cow, but different. Different. But Vakyartam Smarati. He remembers the words of the Aranyaka Purushaha. What is that? Go Sadrishaha Gavyaha iti. Therefore, Tadantaras. Asau Gavya Shabda Vachyaha iti Upamiti Utpadyate. Therefore, he gains the knowledge. This is the Gavaya, the wild buffalo he is talking about. It's exactly like bison. Same thing, same example. Upamiti Karanam. Therefore, here there is no further discussion in it, because Upamana is so similar. Simple. Go Sadrisha. Sadrisha always implies difference also. Remember, when you use the simile like, something is like something, you know it is not exactly the same. It cannot be exactly the same, because if it is exactly the same, the two words will become synonymous. Water buffalo and bison would become synonymous then.
Can we say description, description?
Not necessary. No. There is a similar example given. Because if you are going to give a description, what is a bison? Supposing you say, and I give you a description. It is a huge animal. It has got 4 legs, 2 horns, a massive head. What will come in your mind? A bull, exactly. So Sadrisha Jnanam is what will come in your mind. Therefore, by giving you a description, Ati Vyapti will be in bull, water buffalo. So I have to give you Sadrisha Jnanam. Only then Upamiti will work.
So the word association is very different.
Yes.
Otherwise, without
Yeah. That's why he said Sanya Sanyi Jnanam. It is the Upamitik Jnanam is meant for association of name and object. Now, of course, in science, etc., we expand it a little bit to have all comparative knowledge. Because when you compare two things, you gain some new knowledge out of it. Therefore, comparative knowledge is included into it. Yeah. Comparative knowledge can be included into this. Any knowledge you gain by comparison.
comparison has to be as close as
Yeah, exactly. As close as possible.
one has to be particular, otherwise some example
Yeah. Like I can't say the bison is like an elephant. It just will not work.
somebody wants to misguide.
Yeah, then you can say,
He can give
Yeah.
okay, the person will not
exactly. Or like a bison is like a giraffe, I can't say. But I can say zebra is like a horse. Something like a horse, I can say that. How you say that? But oh, it's different because it's got stripes. This must be the zebra. There are other ways of gaining knowledge also. Remember this. Upamanam is not the only way of gaining any knowledge. How does Upamanam work? This is how it works. Yeah. Knowledge of zebra you can get other ways also. You went to Africa, you saw the zebra, you asked what is this, and somebody told you this is zebra. No, that is not Upamavati Jnanam. No? That is perception and Apta Vakyam. Now can you say where Apta Vakya comes into the picture? A reliable person told you what it is and you accepted it. But the guy should be reliable, otherwise it will become a problem. And you should also ensure that the reliable person is telling you what it is right. Why I am saying it? I was walking with a friend to meet another friend. So she asked me, what is this flower? I don't know. After some walking, what is this flower? I don't know. Third time, hey, what is this flower? Same flower, but showing in different area. I don't know. Abhi 3 times such, I admitted my ignorance honestly 3 times. 4 times same question. I said something like a bougainvillea it is. Now, what am I saying? Let's just keep a quiet. Yaar, abhi 3 times pucha, I am telling you I don't know. Abhi aur kya bolega? So I gave a typical male answer. This is how men behave. So the ladies here, okay? Something like a bougainvillea. Then she goes and we meet the third friend. Says, you know this flower? It's something like a bougainvillea. And that girl knows about plants and trees and all very well. Of course not. It is like this, like this. You bluffed me. You bluffed me. I said, yeah, I bluffed you because 3 times I admitted my ignorance. And still you are insisting, you are asking to be bluffed. So you have to be sure that it is not cases like this when you get Shabda. Why am I saying this? Because we are going to go into Shabda Pramana. Upamana is very simple. Okay, Upamana is very simple. In Vedanta, Upamana will be slightly different, okay? It includes this and includes all things of comparative knowledge also. Yeah. Comparative knowledge which is not included in this is included in Vedanta. That we will see when you do Vedanta Paribhasha. Okay, detail.
Why are they calling this assimilate?
Huh?
Assimilate is there.
For English, yeah. It would have been more, instead of assimilative knowledge, it should have been more comparative knowledge. Yeah. That makes more sense. Assimilative analogy.
Also,
Because, yeah, you're saying?
they have brought in Smaranam word, but Smaranam is there everywhere.
Everywhere it is there. Even in Vyapya, the Smaranam is there, yes. But here is highlighting the importance of it. So, therefore, it has to be there, yeah. Because other Vyapara is there in other places. Vyapti Jnanam, etc. Here that is not there, no? There is no Vyapti. There is only Smaranam. There is no Vyapti at all. Arthapati it is there. But Arthapati is included into inference as far as Tarkika is concerned. But Arthapati is a separate pramana in Vedanta. Deductive logic, like, this is inductive, that is deductive, That way you will begin. So that we will see next time, okay? Om Tat Sat.